everyone, and welcome to day 4 of story time with me, Miss Christina. I moved it back inside today because the last video, while it was great to be outside, the lighting was just not great. So, and to be fair, the lighting in here is not that great either, but what with us all self-quarantining, I'm trying to be responsible and make do with what I have. I've also started posting these videos up on YouTube so I can share them more accessibly with my students. So any of you are watching, hi, I miss you, and I hope that everything's okay wherever you are, and I believe in you, and I'm still here for you. So today we're going to be reading a classic book. It is called The Lorax, so we will be officially speaking for the trees today, and it was published by illustrated by Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss was actually a really interesting guy. I didn't know this, but he was a fine artist as well. And I've recently been to a couple of galleries where his work has been displayed, and his stuff is just quite interesting. This book was originally published in 1971 as kind of a commentary on environmentalism and things that are happening in the world and industry and all of that stuff. It actually has a pretty interesting history about it, so I will link the Wikipedia article in the comments or in the description wherever you're watching this below, as well as our usual activities for the day relating to Dr. Seuss. Dr. Seuss recently had a birthday, so there are a lot of interesting things that you can find online, as well as information relating to the Lorax. I do want to preface this reading and say, because this is Dr. Seuss, there are a lot of tongue twisters, so I will do my best to try and get through it, but it's a little bit hard when you've got a rather bigger children's book with a lot of silly words in it, so bear with me. And without further ado, let's speak for the trees, shall we? Awesome. At the far end of town, where the grickle grass grows, and the wind smells slow and sour when it blows, and no birds ever sing excepting old crows, is the street of the lifted Lorax. And deep in the grickle grass, some people say, if you look deep enough, you can still see today where the Lorax once stood, just as long as it could, before somebody lifted the Lorax away. What was the Lorax, and why was it there? And why was it lifted and taken somewhere from far end of town where the grickle grass grows? The old Onceler still lives there. Ask him. He knows. You won't see the Onceler. Don't knock at his door. He stays in his lurkin on the top of his store. He lurks in his lurkin, cold under the roof, where he makes his own clothes out of muffered moof. And on special dank midnights in August he peeks out of the shutters, and sometimes he speaks, and tells how the Lorax was lifted away. He'll tell you perhaps, if you're willing to pay. On the end of a rope he lets down a tin pail, and you have to toss in 15 cents and a nail, and the shell of a great-great-great-grandfather snail. Then he pulls up the pail, makes a most careful count, to see if you've paid him the proper amount. Then he hides what you've paid him away in his snub, his secret strange hole in his groovulous glove. Then he grunts, I will call you by whisper, my phone, for the secrets I tell are for your ears alone. Slurp! Down slurps the whisper-ma-phone in your ear, and the old Onceler whispers are not very clear, since they have to come down such a snurgly hose, and he sounds if he had smallish bees up his nose. Now I'll tell you, he says, with his teeth sounding gray, how the Lorax got lifted and taken away. It all started way back, such a long time back. Way back in the days when the grass was still green and the pond was still wet and the clouds were still clean and the song of the swoomy swans rang out in space, one morning I came to this glorious place and I first saw the trees, the tuffula trees, their bright colored tufts on the tuffula trees, mile after mile in the fresh morning breeze. And under the trees I saw brown barbaloots frisking about in their barbaloot suits, and they played in the shade and ate tuffula fruits. From the ripulous pond came the comfortable sound of the humming fish humming while splashing around. But those trees, those tuffula trees! All my life I'd been searching for trees such as these. The touch of their tufts was much softer than silk, and they had the sweet smell of fresh butterfly milk. I felt great leaping of joy in my heart. I knew just what to do. I unloaded my cart. In no time at all, I had built a small shop. Then I chopped down a tuffula tree with one chop. And with great skillful skill and with great speedy speed, I took the soft tup, and I kneaded a thneed. The instant I finished, I heard a gazump. I looked. I saw something pop out of the stump of the tree I'd chopped down. It was sort of a man. Describe him? That's hard. I don't know if I can. He was shortish and oldish and brownish and mossy, and he spoke with a voice that was sharpish and bossy. Mister, he said with a sawdusty sneeze, I am the Lorax. I speak for the trees. I speak for the trees have no tongue, and I'm asking you, sir, at the top of my lungs. He was very upset as she shouted and puffed, What is that thing you made out of my tuffula tuft? Look, Lorax, I said, there's no cause for alarm. I chopped just one tree. I'm doing no harm. I'm being quite useful. This thing is a thneed, and a thneed is a fine something that all people need. It's a shirt, it's a sock, it's a glove, it's a hat. But it has other uses, yet far beyond that. You can use it for carpets, for pillows, for sheets, or curtains, or covers for bicycle seats. The Lorax said, Sir, you are crazy with greed. There is no one on earth who would buy that fool thneed. But the very next minute, I proved he was wrong, for just at that minute a chap came along, and he thought that the thneed I had knitted was great, and he happily bought it for $3.98. I laughed at the Lorax. You poor stupid guy! You can never tell what some people will buy. I repeat, cried the Lorax, I speak for the trees. I'm busy, I told him. Shut up, if you please. I rushed across the room and in no time at all built a radio phone. I put in a quick call. I told all my brothers and uncles and aunts and I said, Listen here, here's a wonderful chance for the whole Onceler family to get mighty rich. Get over here fast. Take the road to North Nitch. Turn left at Weehawken, sharp right at South Stitch. And in no time at all, in the factory I built, the whole Onceler family was working full tilt. We were all knitting knitting thneeds, just as busy as bees, to the sound of chopping of tufula trees. Then, oh baby, oh, how my business did grow! Now chopping one tree at a time was too slow. So I quickly invented my super axe hacker, which whacked up 4 tufula trees all in one smacker. We were making thneeds 4 times as fast before, and that Lorax, he didn't show up anymore. But the next week he knocked on my new office door. He snapped, "I am the Lorax who speaks for the trees, which you seem to be chopping as fast as you please. But I'm also in charge of the brown barbaloots who played in their shade in their barbaloot suits and happily lived eating tufula fruits. Now, thanks to your hacking my trees to the ground, there's not enough tufula fruit to go round, and my poor barbaloots are all getting the crummies because they have gas and no food in their tummies." They loved living here, but I can't let them stay. They'll have to find food, and I hope that they may. "Good luck, boys," he cried, and he sent them away. I, the Onceler, felt sad as I watched them all go. But business is business, and business must grow, regardless of crummies and tummies, you know. I meant no harm. I most truly did not. But I had to grow bigger, so bigger I got. I biggered my factory. I biggered my roads. I biggered my wagons. I biggered the loads of the thneeds I shipped out. I was shipping them forth to the south, to the east, to the west, to the north. I went tight on biggering, selling more. I went right on biggering, selling more thneeds, and I biggered my money, which everyone needs. Then again he came back. I was fixing some pipes when that old nuisance Lorax came back with more gripes. "I am the Lorax," he coughed and he wheezed. He sneezed and he snuffled. He snarled, he sniffed. "Onceler," he cried with a cuffulous croak. "Onceler, you're making such a smogulous smoke. My poor swoomy swans, why they can't sing a note. No one can sing who has smog in his throat." "And so," said the Lorax, "please pardon my cough, but they cannot live here. I'm sending them off. Where will they go? I don't hopefully know. They may have to fly for a month or a year to escape all the smog you've smogged up around here." "What's more," snapped the Lorax, his dander was up, "let me say a few words about Gluppity Glup. Your machinery chugs on day and night without stop, making Gluppity Glup, also Schloppity Schlop. And what do you do with the leftover goo? I'll show you, you dirty old Onceler man, you." "You're glumping the pond where the humming fish hummed. No more can they hum, for their gills are all gummed. So I'm sending them off. Oh, their future is dreary. They'll walk on their fins and get woefully weary in search of some water that isn't so smeary." And then I got mad. I got terribly mad. I yelled at the Lorax, "Now listen here, Dad. All you do is yappity yap and say bad, bad, bad. Well, I have my right, sir, and I'm telling you, I intend to go on doing just what I do. And for your information, you Lorax, I'm figuring on biggering and biggering and biggering and biggering, turning more tufulous trees into thneeds, which everyone needs." And at that very moment, we heard a loud whack. From outside the fields came a sickening smack of an axe on a tree. Then we heard the tree fall, the very last tufula tree of them all. No more trees, no more thneeds, no more work to be done. So, in no time, my uncles and aunts, every one, all waved me goodbye. They jumped into my cars and drove away under the smoke-smuggled stars. Now all that was left, 'neath the bad-smelling sky, was my big empty factory, the Lorax, and I. The Lorax said nothing, just gave me a glance, just gave me a very sad, sad backwards glance, as he lifted himself up by the seat of his pants. And I'll never forget that grim look on his face, when he hoisted himself and took leave of this place, through the hole in the smog, without leaving a trace. And all the Lorax left here in this mess was a small pile of rocks with one word, unless. Whatever that meant, well, I just couldn't guess. That was long, long ago, but each day since that day, I've sat here and worried away. Through the years while my buildings have fallen apart, I worried about it with all of my heart. But now, says the Onceler, now that you're here, in the word of the Lorax seems perfectly clear, unless someone like you cares a whole awful lot, nothing is going to get better. It's not. So catch, calls the Onceler. He lets something fall. It's a tufula seed. It's the last one of all. You're in charge of the last of the tufula seeds, and the tufula trees are what everyone needs. Plant a new tufula. Treat it with care. Give it clean water and feed it fresh air. Grow a forest. Protect it from axes that hack. Then the Lorax and all of his friends may come back. The end. All right, everyone. That was the classic, The Lorax. I'm surprised I did it all in one take, so that's awesome. Remember, if you're watching this on Facebook, the video is public. If you're watching this on YouTube, I do have child restrictions on all of my videos, so you can't comment, but you can always like and subscribe if that's something that you're interested in doing, and share it with your friends. I hope you all are having an awesome start of your week. You're keeping your chins up. And as usual, there will be links to activities in the comments or description box up below. Stay safe, everyone, and have a great rest of your day. Thanks for watching. Bye.